with the Karlaftis extension, and just looking at what he's done to earn this contract, when you look at what he did last year, most recent year with the Chiefs, he was first in the NFL, according to Pro Football Focus. All these numbers come from PFF. He was first in the NFL in quarterback hits with 21. He was 13th in the league in QB pressures with 61. He was tied third in the league in passes batted down. He's one of the best in the NFL. And getting a hand up and swatting down, or at the very least, tipping those passes at the line of scrimmage. One of the best to do it. He played the 9th most snaps in the regular season among edge rushers. He played 1,006 snaps altogether if you include the postseason. That's more than any player. Now, of course, when we're going to include postseason stats, and if you played all the way to the Super Bowl, of course, you will be number one or very close to number one in a lot of those types of categories. But the reason I'm pointing that out, still not to compare him to anyone else, because you can't really do that. That's not fair, because there are fewer and fewer players who make it into January and then February. But my point is, this guy's been a massive workhorse. This is someone who has played a lot for the Chiefs and has been very good. Now, I think he's only going to get better. I don't think Karlaftis has hit his best season yet. I don't think this guy's hit his prime yet. He still has a lot more to give, I think. And you want to earn that third contract at the age of 28 or 29, potentially a record-breaking contract, because we always get those record-breaking contracts at specific positions, or even all of the non-QB positions. You hear about those every offseason. I think we've had 3 record-breaking contracts among non-QB positions. First, I think it was Jamar Chase, and then Max Crosby, or maybe it was the other way around, Myles Garrett, and now we have TJ Watt. I mean, that's happened a few times this offseason. But when you look at what George Karlaftis has accomplished with the Chiefs, he's one of the best edge rushers, and in my opinion, the most underrated edge rusher in the league right now. Because when you think of edge rushers, I mean, the top tier guys like Myles Garrett, Trey Hendrickson, TJ Watt, those are the guys that get talked about the most, and rightfully so. And I think there's still a gap between those guys and Karlaftis, but I think Karlaftis is going to be moving in that direction in the next couple of years. He had 8 sacks last season, and we all know the story with the Chiefs and their sack total, a big drop-off from last year, or the year before, rather, when they were second in sacks with, I think it was 57, don't quote me exactly, but somewhere around that range. And then they had 18 fewer sacks this past season, going from second to 18th most in the league. And that does need to improve, and I think it will get better. I mean, you have Karlaftis, who, again, you look at him, he was 13th in pressures among edge rushers only. Chris Jones, he was second among interior defensive linemen in pressures. You have Ashton Gelati, Omar Norman-Lott, who were both very good at pressuring quarterbacks last season, and I think that'll help. Charles Omenihu will play more this season, hopefully stay healthy. Mike Dana as well. Mike Pennell coming back, I think, is very huge. And I think that's only going to help the Chiefs defense improve. Hopefully the secondary can be better. That definitely needs to improve as well. But I think if all of those things work in Kansas City's favor, which I think it will, especially those 2 rookie defensive linemen the Chiefs got in the second and in the third rounds, that's going to help Kansas City's sack totals go up. I think that'll help a guy like George Karlaftis improve his sack total, as well as Chris Jones. And I mentioned the defensive line. This is a defensive line that just extended George Karlaftis. They have Chris Jones. They have Mike Dana, Charles Omenihu, FAU, Mike Pennell, and they drafted Ashton Gelati and Omar Norman-Lott back in April. It's a great deal. And the Chiefs lock up another key piece to a long-term deal. He signed through the 2030 season. I like this a lot for Kansas City's defense. I really do.